Hey guys, well, last time we worked on the 60, we were working on those side pillar panels for the interior. So I got some parts in today for the suspension. So we're going to move it out, and then we're going to pull out the Cadillac and put the 60 Belair on the lift and raise this thing up and see if we can't put on those front suspension parts. The part that I got is for the front end steering. It's a steering component. I think it's called an idler arm. Mine is way sloppy up in here, and you can see how tight that one is to move. You shouldn't have any play in that arm. So obviously mine's probably never been changed on this car, so we're gonna put that one on. Flying solo today. Bubba's at work. He works second shift, so he's not here. Axel, he's got some things to do. Axel Rod, he's out with some friends this afternoon having a good time. We may have a friend come by here and help us, so he's camera shy, so you probably won't see him on camera, but you'll hear him talking. So yeah, I guess I'll put you guys on the stand here, and we'll move some cars. Got to move Axelrod's four-wheeler out of here too. Let me move that chair out of the way. I'll put you guys over here on the stand, and then that way you can see me move 60 out. Of course, it'll have to air up. So let's start it up. And just so you know, it really is a headache to be moving these cars around like this when they don't have any seats or interior. I get too old for this. Gotta let this one warm up, let the air compressor build up for the airbag suspension. So that compressor runs quite a bit back there. It'll run for quite a while. I'll open the door. Let's take a look inside here again. As you can see, these are the side pillars that we're fixing to cover right here. Sorry for the noise, a little loud in here with the car running and that compressor filling up that air tank back there. You can see I just got the gauges laying in the floor right now. I don't really have anything secured, but I can raise the hood. We can take a look at this engine right quick. Hard to do something one-handed. How about that? Well, you can see it's just a normal stock 350 engine in this car. Nothing special. It's nasty still. I've not got around yet to getting under the hood to paint, clean this thing up, or put a proper air cleaner on it. However, we did do this. We put power disc brakes on this car. I bought this power booster master cylinder setup from Jag. It's fairly reasonable, couple $100. That's a great way to improve the car's driving right there, to have power disc brakes, at least in the front. Now the Cadillac, it is manual hub brakes all the way around on this car. Obviously they've been rebuilt, they work really good, but they're not really ideal. But you know, at the time, that's what I could afford to do. I had said on this 60 that was one of the first things I did, was do the power disc brake, just so it would be more so like a daily driver. The brake setup was not that bad. It took a couple of days to get it set up, but once it was installed, it works really good. Car stops really good. I wouldn't have any issue taking this car into traffic or town at all. Well, I don't really have an issue with putting a Cadillac in traffic. You just can't be on nobody's rear end. It does take quite a bit longer to stop the Cadillac than it does this 60. But you got to understand too that this Cadillac, she's a heavy girl. Mary Jane is a heavy girl. That's what we call her, Mary Jane. And if you're wondering, we call the 60 here, I call it the 60, my wife calls it Maria. So yeah, she names all our cars. So I get it aired up right here in just a minute. We're going to push Axelrod's four-wheeler outside, get it out of the way, because we will not be using this frame on his project. And if you're wondering, we're waiting on that oil seal, the shifter seal, to come in to put in that motor, and then we can put this thing on the good frame up there in the other barn, and hopefully he'll be riding pretty soon. I know he's getting awful excited about that. But let me go ahead and air up the 60 now, and I'll get it out of here. I'll try to place you guys in a way where you can see it backing out after I air it up. Turn you just a little bit here. And mind you, this car is loud. I'm running 2.5 inch exhaust on this car, and I'm running Spintech 9000 mufflers. Car sounds really good. I've never used that muffler before. It was a recommendation of one of my buddies that I work with. He'd been running them for a long time. I'm really glad I went with those. They got a real raspy sound to them. They sound really good. You should check them out. Yeah, I really like them on this car. I was real pleased with the way it sounded. That car has a pretty good sized cam in it, so I don't like to just fire it and move it cold. I would like it to warm up a little bit anyway before we just move it out. And I'll just back it over here and pull the 60 straight in. Well, you can see my dogs. That's Cash. He likes to run up here every chance he gets. He can run in the garage. This is his brother right here, Carter. Carter must be camera shy. You don't want to get on the camera. Carter. You can hear that idle change in that car when it starts to warm up. It's got electric choke. Get a good look at the 60 out here aired up in the sun, and for as low as this car sits when the air is out of it, it sits up really high when it's aired up. Now obviously I won't drive it aired up this high. I've got quite a bit of pressure and we're still fighting a few leaks up around the air switch, so got to get those worked out. When I get it in there and get it on the lift, we change this arm out here after a while. I may show you a trick if you're doing an airbag setup at home or thinking about doing one, you're wondering about leaks. I can show you a real quick trick using some Windex on how to find those leaks. You just basically spray it on your connections and it'll bubble. I mean, like blowing bubbles out of one of the little kid toys. I mean, they'll really bubble up there. You can find those leaks quick. I just got basically a cheap air ride kit offline for this car. It's a complete kit. Come with a Vixen pump, just a basic polished tank. I'm running one pump and a 5-gallon tank, a 1/4-inch airline, and 4 switches and 2 gauges in this car. And online, like I said, this is a cheaper kit. It bolted in really good. It did not take long. Of course, anybody knows these cars here know that, you know, they're easy to put on a air ride kit anyway. Coming into the shop in a couple of days, maybe over the weekend, we might be able to get it in, is my son Bubba's 64 Thunderbird, and we're going to do an air ride kit on it. Which will be quite a bit different because the springs on the Fords go from the top of the A-arm up. And in these cars, everybody knows, you know, the spring is in between the A-arm and control arm. So that ought to be interesting. We'll get some good footage on that and hopefully go start to finish with it. And he done basically the same thing. They didn't offer kits, so he had to buy you know, he bought a pump, he bought a Vixen pump and basically a tank offline, and then bought, you know, a bracket kit. And he's got leaf springs in the back, so you'll get to see how we do that. Leaf over air suspension in the rear of that car. But I'm going to put you guys up here on the tripod so you can see me back out the Cadillac, and we'll get the 60 back. Alright, we got her up in the air now. This right here is the part that we're going to be changing right here. It's basically like a tie rod in. We'll take those nuts off and then probably use a fork to break them free right there. And you can see it, put the light on it right there. That is it. I want to check fitment with the other part before I start taking this one off. Let me grab it. We'll open this baby up and see what we got. Make sure everything's going to fit up before we go through the trouble of tearing it down and having to wait several weeks for another part. Yeah, let's see here. It sure looks like it. Oh yeah, that's money right there. That is dead money. That is her. Alright, so we'll start taking this baby apart, see what we can tear up. I'll be glad to get this car on the road. I haven't done all the work to this car. I've traded for it a while back, and you know, it was about probably 50% done. It needed some floor pan work, stuff like that. Of course, I added the airbags and the wheels and things. That's not anything it really needed. But since I didn't have to spend money trying to get the thing to run, I figured that I would, or having to pick up an engine for it, I'd just do a few things that I've always wanted to do. I have had an air ride system before on one, but it was years ago, probably 10-15 years ago, before air ride actually blew up and got as big as it did. You know, before you seen every other car on the road had air ride suspension. So this was kind of a learning experience for me, putting it on this car. This car runs pretty good. I've drove it up to 2 hours home when I traded for it. Of course, she still had, you know, the manual brakes, and they was about wore out, and I don't recommend driving one like that. But these brakes, they seemed good enough that I wasn't too concerned about driving it. The guy that I got the car off of, he'd been driving it and putting quite a few miles on it. Car run pretty good right out the gate. Now I am going to have to go, I'll have to put an alternator on it at some point. I'm going to have to put an alternator on. Come on out of there, dadgummit. Boy, that is sticky. We'll spray a little bit of blast on that, see if we can't work some of that stuff loose a little bit. Oh. Get a little blaster here and see if we can loosen everything up. Watch me shoot it everywhere that it don't need it. Them little pins, boy, they can really be a headache to get out. Of course, it don't matter if I break these pins off. I've got new ones came with the that came with the arm. But I would like to get them worked out of there anyway, if we can. she's awful cruddy up in there. Got a good pair of pliers here to try to grab onto that pin, pull it out enough so we can at least break it off, you know. Yeah, she's in there pretty good. Felt like I almost got it to move. Maybe not. This one right here. Let's see if we can get it bent around there where we need it. I don't have time for this stupid pin. Come on out of there. Negative. Well, it would surprise me if they would have came right out, I guess. See if we can't maybe drive a thin punch in there. Get a little leverage on it that way. Things can be a devil. Set our light up here where we can see what we're doing. That'd help out a lot. Yeah, take a little hammer right here and go right there and yeah, alright. See if we can get it to work. Yeah, drop everything. Now she moved a little. Well, we're definitely making the hole bigger anyway. Yeah, we're working her around there. She's starting to go back to the trusty needle nose. See if we can roll her out of there. No, sir, she is stubborn. Yes, sir, she has been in there for 60 years and does not want to come out. Come out of there, dadgum you. There we go. There's going to be a fight. I can see that right now. Yeah, the thing is going to fight me till the bitter end. Well, this whole video may be on getting this pin out. Got the back side through. The front side though, go back to the old punch method and see if we can't relieve it that way. Try to punch some of it out right there. That thing is stubborn. No, one thing, this arm might be wore out, but you ain't never have to worry about it coming off. It would have to break in half. With a pin that stubborn in it. Bend that top one down now. See if we can't. Yeah, buddy. That baby really on there. Oh yeah. Have to give her a little persuasion. Once we give her a little bit of persuasion, she started to move out a little bit loose. Nothing a good old hammer. Don't be afraid to use your hammer. I know that. Especially on these old cars. It's a good way to free up some stuff like it's shocking it with a hammer. Especially if it's something you can't get your impact on. Yeah, she's coming right off of there now. We'll be in good shape on this one. About to bust the ball joint there. But yeah, look at that. There we go. That was a lot more than I intended. I hope that pin on that back side right there don't cause us near as much headache. But there she is, right there. Alright. I may have to reposition you guys here so you can see that back one a little bit better there. And we're going to start on it now. See if we can't get that pin out. Hopefully that pin come out a little bit easier than that one there did, because this one here is pretty raunchy too. We'll put a little punch in there. A little punch action on it. See what we can't come up with. That pin out. Hopefully it don't bite like that other one did. My gosh, that was a pain in the rear end. I get that little hammer and see if I can't tap it there. No, you're not gonna let me tap on her either. Can't get it back in there to it. Well, alrighty then. Do things the hard way. That's typically the way it always goes. See if we can't get this one bent up. Try to run that punch in right there. And oh yeah, punch is going in there now. And of course we'll throw it across the shop. Let's see what we can do right here. If we can work that thing out of there. I know these pins, they really... Whole car come apart, this pin still be right here in this bolt. Crazy. Been there quite some time. Like I said, I guarantee you that this arm right here has never been changed. Now I changed the tie rod ends up here on the front, and I may actually go back and change the inner tie rods. They're bad. I mean, I think that they could be run for a while, but if you know, when we get up start driving this car all the time, you're probably going to want them changed. Yeah, this one here is putting up a pretty good fight right here. Oh, let's see what we can do right here. Let's try to get the pliers back in there on it now. If we can maybe roll it out. I was out here trying not to get completely covered in grease on a Wednesday afternoon after work. Well, you see how that's going. Get my good coveralls nasty. Yeah, it'll be alright. See, if Bubba was here, I'd just have him be doing this. He picked a good night for me to do this and him have to work. Alright, now we got that one part out, and right there goes the other. So not near as bad as that other one, but still a pain in the rear end. So we'll throw the wrench up on here. Give her a tap that way. Oh yeah. Starting to loosen up now. Getting her good and shocked there. Alright, here we go. There we go. She's getting loose now. Let me grab a ratchet action wrench instead of doing all this work. I can tell you too, if you don't have a set of ratchet action wrenches, you need to get a set. They are an arm saver. These things They're not great for everything, but they are great for some things. Look at that. Oh yeah, it's coming right off there now. And we'll take our air hammer and our fork and bust those joints loose. And hopefully we can throw that arm on there. Alright. There we go. Alright, now I'll get the air hammer out and we'll bust them loose. Alright, well I went ahead and spared you guys the hassle of having to hear the air compressor and this air hammer run, but this right here is what I use. This is basically just a cheap Harbor Freight air hammer, and I got the fork there too. I think you can pick these up for like 20-30 bucks. I've had this one for a long time. When I bought this air hammer probably 10 years ago, obviously it's not something you use all the time, and I believe when I actually bought it, it was under 20 bucks. If you're going to be doing any kind of tie rod stuff or ball joint stuff, definitely worth the investment there. You can buy the forks, you know, and bang them with a hammer and stuff, and I've done that too, and that works. But let's see here. There we go. And now right here you can see that was pretty toasty right there. Hopefully this new one will fix some of the slop that was up here in this front end. So we'll go ahead and reinstall this one. Goes back the same way the old one came off. This one's got nice rubber bushings, so we're gonna be good. This thing, I picked this up online. I buy a lot of parts online just because they don't have parts like this at the local parts store, just on demand, you know, for all this older stuff. So, and right there, just reinstall her back that way there. Run the nuts down. Not too bad of a job. Probably 30 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down with my ratchet action, and of course I'm turning and taking it back off, but there we go. Hopefully we'll be cruising. Coming up this weekend, I'm gonna go ahead and plug a local car show, the Moonshine Rod Run, coming up this weekend. We're going to be up Saturday with Cadillac up in Newport, Tennessee. So I'll have some footage from that car show coming to you guys. And I think what we're going to try to do here, obviously I've never YouTubed or anything like this before, so what I was thinking, and you can tell me in the comments if I'm thinking wrong, because trust me, I think wrong all the time, and it's not a problem. But I was thinking maybe we'd take some car show videos. I got a couple coming, and I would run those maybe in the middle of the week for a shorter video, and then we can do something more in depth like this right here, and I'll put these videos out maybe Sunday afternoon. You know, I'm open to any kind of suggestions you guys got. Just drop them in the comments. How we can, like I said, I'm not a YouTuber, well, until now, so I'm still learning all this stuff with the camera. And so I mean, you know, drop comments, and you know, hit the comments and drop suggestions, and you know, we'll go from there. And if you see something I can do better on camera, or better camera angles, or you know, you just let me know, because I mean, I'm not a I'm not a professional YouTuber by no means. I'm just a guy in my garage, you know, working on old cars. So, you know, it looks like we have the voice of knowledge pulling up the driveway out there. Perfect time to show up, about the time the work's almost done. I will show you guys some of that stuff I was talking about with the air ride, and of course I just loosened that back up. I'm going to give it a couple of smacks to the hammer right here and tighten this down. And what you're really looking for is just to see where the hole comes through, and we could put those new evil pins in there, and hopefully they will hold like the old ones did, give it such a fit coming out. Alright, take my light and look for the hole there in the thread. We'll put those new pins in now. I need to go a little bit more with that back one right there, and we'll be able to get that pin in. I got to put the grease fittings in too. And that will pretty much wrap this little job up. Not too bad of a job at all, especially if you're not on the ground now. I have been doing this on the ground, and it's a headache to do it on the ground, ain't it? It's yeah. Yeah, still got to go a little bit more. I believe I passed it up. There you go. See there. No. Still got to tighten it up a little bit more. I'm hitting right in the center of that hole every time. Every daggum time. Alright, I'm going to leave that one alone for a minute and go up here and look at this one. This one up here is good. I don't need to worry with it. Now this one back here is evil, and it don't want me to get the pin in there and get it in the hole. Easier when you got somebody here to hold the light. I'm going to hold that light right there for just a minute. Let me see. Just got a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Right there. Alright. Drop the pins in, that takes care of this. Alright. Alright, what do you got here? Oh, yeah. I just put it across the frame. I just caught the frame with it.
Transmission.
No, it's clear the transmission. Look here. Yeah. She's good and clear. I thought about that too after I raised it up. Now I looked and I was like, well, it's not catching the transmission, so, you know, it'd be okay. So I went ahead and put the grease fittings in, or the voice of knowledge put the grease fittings in for us. And we got the new evil pins in. You tighten these down?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't tighten that down. I tightened that down, I put it in.
Okay, that works. I'll tighten this one down then. Let's see, right there we go now. Alright. Alright, we'll let this thing down now, and we'll take a look at the air switches, and I'll show you that trick with that Windex and it bubble up those air leaks. It's pretty impressive the way of catching them leaks.
Yeah.
Alright, we're inside the car here. You can see I've got my Windex. And you can see this air gauge right here. When you spray the Windex on these air fittings, they get you in right there. Look at that bubble up. That's a major leak right there that's going to have to be fixed. And these little barb fittings right here is what actually came with the kit. And you can see how they're leaking. You can see how that's bubbling up. I'll get you a close-up shot right there. That's a massive leak. And look at this leak right here. Focus, daggum you. There you go. Yeah, that's a massive leak right there. So, well, we don't have anything else, time for anything else tonight, but next time we will cut that switch loose and just replumb the whole thing. I got some different fittings in today that we'll put in there, and we should be able to stop those leaks. I've already went around and checked the bags, and there's no leaks at the bags. The only leaks we have left are right there. Shouldn't be too bad to straighten out, but as far as that idler arm goes, you see that wasn't too bad of a job. Obviously, if you've got to do it on the ground, on a creeper like I used to, it can be a lot worse just because of the position you're in. But hey, that idler arm now is driver approved. However, The air switches for the air ride are not. So maybe next time we'll get on those and get back to that interior stuff. But we need to get all this stuff driver approved so we can get this thing on the road. But until next time, y'all take it easy. Remember, build it, don't buy it.